And we're just going to go over here and show you guys a really basic installation of a TV and just show you the basic steps, how to do it so you're confident in installing your TV. So for every installation, I have a grouping of tools that come with me, and they're absolutely important. And so we're going to go over the things that you're going to need for this basic installation. You have to have these products. Today we're going to be installing a Samsung 32-inch TV. This is a very common size TV for your bedroom. People put them in the kitchen. They're just a great size to hide in the corner, put on an arm mount. We got a SANUS kind of full rotation mount here for smaller TVs. This one says 22 to 55-inch TVs. Really that depends on the hole size in the back of the TV, so you can go a little bigger or whatever, but it's a great mount by SANUS, and these are bought at Costco or online. They're great mounts. So here is the bag of bolts that comes with every new mount. What's important to know is that there are like 3 or 4 different size bolts that you're going to use in this project. It goes all the way from an M4, which are skinnier, to an M5, M6, and M8. It looks like they don't have any M5s on this one, so just the 4, 6, and 8s. And this TV is actually the M4, which is the smallest one, and those are the least common to have. So it's good because it's a smaller mount, so it's probably why they include those, is because it's more common for smaller TVs. Middle-sized TVs, Sony's and LG's use the M6. Most Samsungs and bigger TVs use the bigger M8s. And they have different lengths for each that you can use in combination with the washers and the spacers, and you'll end up getting a fit where it's got to be just tight enough, but it can't be loose once the bracket's on. If the screw bottoms out and the bracket still moves around, you got to put a spacer in there, and we'll show you that as we're doing it. So I'm going to get the M4 screws out. Try not to lose them in the carpet. Once you lose them in the carpet, you'll never find them. Got the washers as well, so we have washers, screws, and I think for this one we're going to need a little spacer. There's some spacers, so we just need washers, screws, and spacers. So step 1 is we're going to put the bracket on the TV here, and just follow the instructions in your manual. It's pretty straightforward. This one comes with 3 pieces, so we're just going to go through that process. We put these on first, these horizontal pieces. And the key with these, and every time you put a bracket on, is just hold it up tight as you're putting the screw in, so that everything lines up. If you push up on everything as you're tightening it, it'll line up. Now we put this piece on here. They always have one set of holes that line up and one set that has a little bit of play. And the top ones here are the ones that line up. There you go. 100 by 100 millimeter. Got the bracket on. Step 1. So now that the bracket is on the TV, we're going to go to step 2. This is the most important step. We have to measure where things are on the TV, otherwise it makes step 3 very difficult. So we're going to go ahead and figure out, in this instance we have this bracket here, which is where the mount will grab on. So what's important is to know is where the bottom of the TV is to this piece here to the top. So if you know these 3 measurements, that's all you need to know. So we have, the TV is about 18 inches tall, and the bracket hits at just over 15, so about 15 1/8. So from the bottom to the 15 1/8, and it's an 18-inch tall TV. When you have those 3 measurements, that's all you need from the TV. So now that we have step 2 completed and we know where our measurement's going to be, we ask our customer where they want the TV on the wall. In this instance, they drew an X for us. Piece of cake, that's where they want the TV. So we have an 18-inch TV, and this is step 3, finding out where the mount goes on the wall. So we're going to measure up the 18-inch TV that we have vertically and put it on the wall where they want. And as we said before, the mount hits at 15 1/8. So we simply make a mark at 15 1/8. Now that we have the height of the TV marked out, we're going to go ahead and find the studs that are closest to this. The stud right here is the one we're going to use. It's actually right where the X is. We wanted a little left or right for our mount, but you just have to figure out which ones are closest. A lot of mounts use 2, so this one's right in the middle, which is good for our extending mount. And something that's really important is, if you're not sure about where the stud is, which it's very common, just use a very small bit, like a 1/8 bit or even a 1/16 inch bit, and just make 3 holes. Make a hole right where you think the stud is, and then if you hit it, make a hole left and make a hole right, and you'll be able to just make sure you know exactly where the stud is, and you'll be confident you're in the middle of it. So after we have the height of the TV picked out and the stud we're going to use, we need to figure out how the mount goes on the wall. And what we did before is we measured 15 1/8 inch, which is where this mount connects to that bracket on the wall on the TV. And now we have our stud and the top of our mount right there. And now we're gonna line up this stud, this top, and our bracket. So first I'm gonna grab the old level, and we're gonna make a couple marks where the top of the mount's gonna go, where it crosses the stud. And you wanna draw this down as far as your mount's gonna go. So now we know where to put the mount. That is the exact point of where this mount's gonna go. We want our bracket to go right here. We want it to hit the mark on both top and bottom. And to do so, I use a level to make sure that the mount is level. And now you just mark your holes. This doesn't have to be an exact thing when you're talking about left and right, because now that I move it away, we have our cross reference everywhere. So now we can just go ahead and make a mark. That's the exact spot that the 2 screws are gonna go in this to secure the mount. And we're just gonna do the top one first. So our instructions say that we need a 1/4 inch drill bit. So we're gonna go ahead and drill the top hole, and then we're gonna put the mount up and then drill the bottom hole, which is highly recommended. And so we have the bolt and the washer and the mount. We're gonna go ahead and connect this all up. Get it on the head here and just screw it into the wall. I always hand tighten them, so just be careful on over tightening it with the drill, because if you do, you can just break the head right off. It's a good way for your TV to come crashing down later. So we'll always hand tighten. But before I hand tighten, I'm gonna go ahead and now, since we have an exact mark, which actually it is a little bit lower than my mark was initially, now I know exactly where this one goes. That's why I didn't drill it first. I just drilled the top one first. And if it's a mount that goes left and right, drill both of the top ones first, put the mount up, then drill the bottom 2 holes. Drill bit back on. We're gonna go right in there. Get our adapter back on and our socket. And I have my other bolt. Now, when I put the other bolt in, we do want to make sure that we use the level. We'll just start it and then we'll check the level. So we need to check level of the mount. It's a little bit off, so we're going to go ahead and shift the bracket. There we go. I kept pressure on it. And there you go. So now that we hand tighten those bolts into the wall, we can just put this cover back on, and we're finished with step 3. So the 4th and final step is confidently putting the TV on the mount. Once the bolts are tightened and you want to just make sure that it's secure on the wall, you can give it a little tug on the mount, especially if it's an arm mount. If you give it a little pressure, you'll feel it's solid. If it's on the wall, you can kind of grab it like that and just make sure. If nothing moves, you're great. And now you can confidently put the TV up. I'm gonna go ahead and just lift this one up. And now everything's secure, and where we put this on, We have it sitting here and it just sits up on there and gravity does the work. So we'll put the tension screw in here to stabilize the mount. And some of these SANUS mounts now actually have a leveling feature here. I guess we're supposed to use this to move this left or right to make it level. So I kind of just have to spin the TV around and make sure it's level. Put that up there on the wall. We'll check where we're at as far as level. So it's level. And there you go. Your TV's installed in 4 simple steps. If you have any questions about this, please comment below. And if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Remember, if you follow our direction, if you follow these steps, you can be the installer.